Hey guys, what's going on? XCaliber here, and we are back in Empyrion Galactic Survival Anvil REFORGED build series, stream 34. It is a Wednesday, last of the month. Everybody's doing good. Hey, XCaliber, what's up, man? Hell yeah, hell yeah. Viking, what's up? Daedric. Freak Tanker, what's up, man? What's up, Warzone Alpha? Hope everybody's doing good today. We are going to continue forth in our quest of the bayonet and all bayonet accessories. I had to stream early today, guys. I have a parent-teacher conference for a little XCal, so I'll have to leave that a little bit earlier. So I wanted to get a little jump on it, get a little bit done today. So we're good. I think we ended up being good with this one, right? Now, this will essentially be the same thing for the production module, the outside. I'll tweak the outside a little bit more, texture it up, and then we'll be able to duplicate it, but as a production module. How long is that? That's a good question. 224? Heck, and I literally just started. I haven't even put a block down yet. You're good. Hey Jarvis, what's up, man? What a coincidence! Right now, I'm picking up some blood samples from Bayonet Point. Oh, that's cool. There you go. Hey Strife. Crossed. What? Dude, I crossed live level 40. Oh, dude, you turned 40 years old, man. Big hype. Happy birthday, dude. I didn't know what you meant. I'm like, what? What game is that? Hell yeah. Big hype for hacking. Hell, I hit that pretty recently myself. A year ago, a year and a half ago. I know, like I'm 40, right? And it's like, well, I'm 41, but um, now it's like, you know, a lot of people that I interact with and stuff, I assume they're 40. And most of them are like 30, 35. And I'm like, what the hell, man? I'm old. I feel old. You know, they're like, oh, you know, I just turned 30. It's oh boy. I'm like, man, shut up. I wish I paid attention to my 30s, man. I don't remember anything. I wasn't paying no mind at all. I'm kind of pissed about it. Hey, Sam. Yeah, exactly. No one's gonna have some consistency here. This is this, right? Yeah, oh yeah. 3's right around the corner. The server should be going live on Saturday. This Saturday, guys. Get ready. Forgot to mention that. I'm just seeing if you guys are awake. I shouldn't, you know what? I shouldn't kid around with the server. I'm sorry. No, there's no server going live on Sam. That was a bad joke. That was horrible. I'm gonna pay for that. Someone's gonna read that, or I'll get some message in YouTube, and they'll be like, "What do you mean?" No, I wouldn't do that. You guys are gonna know in advance. Don't worry about it. Oh, sorry. No, because I honestly, like, I know people are gonna want to, like, get their affairs in order. They want to make sure they got some time off work, or whatever the case is, you know. So no, we're still I don't know, honestly. I don't know what Vermilion and Ravian are up to, but I'm sure they're hard at work. Once we get that patch from them, then we're gonna be able to execute our side of it.
Welcome to XBC!
Hey, Nedlaw with the 6-month resub, dude. Hell yeah. Get your battle axe, sir. Congrats. Big hype, man. Thank you.
Welcome to XBC.
Dude, and then popping off a gift sub to Kilogram. Dude, that's cool, man. Thank you. Good guy for Nedlaw. 6 months. Hell yeah, that's awesome, man. Thank you. What's going on with you, Strife? It's okay. Wait, is it that Saturday? Okay, I'll put my job this after. Quit my job. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. Pretorius, what's up? I'll be traveling on the 23rd of July for a month. Oh, yeah. That's your 5th gift? Dude, see, that's the community, man. That's what I'm talking about. Dude, that's awesome, man. You've gotten 5. Hell yeah. Alright, dude. Yeah, had to start early. I got a parent-teacher conference. Alexcow. Apparently, she's been interrupting class and telling people to get on the ground and welcome to XBC and all this stuff. And I guess it's annoying the teacher or something. So gotta deal with it. They do, actually. Today's her last day, and I'm kidding. She's actually a model student, man. She's freaking awesome. She's a grade A student, killing it. Very bright. Although she does like to doesn't like to let other people talk. That's her one thing. So she's pretty I guess you would call it confident. I don't know. She's pretty confident when it comes to taking the floor. I don't know where she gets that from. And I mean it. I don't know. She didn't get that from me, because, I mean, I stream, but totally different than, like, public speaking. I can't do any of that shit. You know? No. Terrified of stuff like that. Anything. It could be in a group of friends and I'll be terrified sometimes. Hey Jay, what's up, man? It's that one weird, you know, so this is a module, right? So I'm gonna duplicate this and make a production module out of it. So my thing is, like, why would I make the production module and then have to texture both individually? Why not just texture this one and then boom, bada boom, you know? So not my normal interest of but you know. What are you working on now, Jay? I mean, you're done, man. You're done with the space station. Like, what's going on in J-Land? Love to hear about it, man. You want to pop in? It's up to you, dude. Actually looks really good with the that block. I'm digging that block, man, by the way. That block's pretty cool.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Oh, not too much. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Oh, not too bad. Had some busy times, but yeah, I just got back from shopping and doing some other things I had to get done. Otherwise, I wasn't gonna eat.
Ah, okay. More pot pies. I got you. Pot pie supply running low.
Well, honestly, I didn't get any pot pies this time because
Oh.
the key factor, they weren't on sale. So,
Oh, there you go. Well, it is what it is.
yeah. So I see you're building some kind of module thing there.
I am, yeah. So this is the bayonet. It is it's like a bigger pickaxe, I guess. But instead of having integrated cargo in it, it has the cargo modules. So same X idea. They dock at a 45, so you have 4 of them. They're 18 cargo systems each in these modules.
Oh,
here.
nice.
So, and then there's 2 platforms, so you can have up to 8 of these. So it ends up being like a ridiculous amount of cargo. But what's cool is in the center here, you can park 2 bigger modules, which is what I'm working on now. So
Okay.
this one's a garden module, which I'll never use. And then the other one's going to be a production module.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, they'll fit into the sides there and everything, so...
Man, you know, and I just put out a space station and it supports 2 different module types, and now there's a third. Come on, man.
Well, no. So this I think will work with the Helios ports, kind of. Like it's 2 blocks smaller all the way around. So I don't think it'll be a big problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a big problem.
Cool. That's cool. No, it looks really cool from what I can see. I got a little bit of delay on the Twitch stream, but yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, thanks, dude. So it's a little bit different. It's a little bit of a different look. I mean, it's kind of a industrial outward look. Like this is the front, kind of a cockpit.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see some new glass in there.
Yeah. So this will
That's
be like
cool.
the bridge, and then I'm gonna have some rooms up on the top and bottom for like a little production area, probably, and like a little berthing area or something. But you kind of walk through it, so it's a little more like realistic Expanse space station kind of situation here.
Yep. No, I dig it. I dig it. I like that.
And these are like the internal docking modules. So like, you know, this is where the cargo is. So you would be able to climb into all the cargoes. They all have individual levers.
Okay. Yeah. As long as they're not lever levers, you're all
right,
set.
No, that's it, right? That's it. But it's pretty massive, man. It's
oh yeah. It looks really cool, man. It really does. I dig the shaping and the whole aesthetic look of it. It's very cool.
Yeah, thanks, man. And then I got the Auger Mark C. Well, you've seen this. I think I've showed you this before.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yep.
Yeah, so
maybe not the Mark C version. I've seen the. Maybe
well,
that's updated.
This is the CV. This is the CV version, but.
Oh right.
Yeah, so it's an auger, but it's a CV. 2 cargo systems, shield, warp drive, everything.
Nice.
So we got that in, and that dock's on the side here. So there's actually 4 CV docks on this thing where this grading is. You can 45-degree dock smaller CVs and stuff. Probably about 3 clips on each one of these, really, if you want to add more cargo. Even.
So as the docking, how are you doing like some kind of LCD guides or something to for precision docking or?
That sounds great. I am not personally going to do that. If maybe I'll hire somebody to do that. I'm not doing that, but I can see. I don't know. It's just kind of line up. So it's like a cockpit lineup thing, right? Like
Yeah. Well, at least have like a point, like a focal point on where to like exactly line up your face to when you're docking.
Yeah. So I mean, when you're in the cargo modules, it's direct center, and basically you want to go for the center. So I mean, I don't know. I guess when these are closed, like there's a little slit you can guide. But yeah, maybe an LCD. I don't know. I'd have to work with somebody to get that.
Why? You know how to make LCDs, don't you? Come on. Come on.
It's really cutting into my Rust time. We've been playing the hell out of some Rust, man.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of spare time. I've still been hitting, believe it or not, a heavily modded version of Minecraft.
See, this is what I don't understand about you. We have a Minecraft server, and we've all been playing Minecraft. What the hell, bro?
I started this game like a year ago.
Oh, okay. It's an ongoing journey.
It is an ongoing journey, and it's got a lot more to do yet. It's crazy. Yeah, but my name Dungeons and Dragons and Space Shuttles certainly isn't your father's Minecraft.
Ah, nice.
Oh my God, talk about base complexities, though. I mean, you know how I am, right? I like to integrate everything, and try to make like a nice like production space and things like that. I do that in Empyrion. This version of Minecraft has so many machines and things that literally I started out with a base that you would probably think was way too big, and I totally ran out of room. And now I like what I was playing a couple days ago. I was like, I need it. Oh, and I had a creeper get in the base and took out there's different kinds of storage in this, right? So I've got this central computer that hooks up to this drawer system, which this drawer system is extensive, and it holds like everything, and then you can go to a computer display and have it like if you got the right equipment and like build stuff, and you got all these different smelting things and other things and processors and fluids and pipes and electrical lines and solar, and oh my God, dude, it's great though. I love the aspect of it.
Yeah.
I do. If Empyrion had half of what this mod has for stuff, it would. I just keep on thinking how in depth you could go with like Empyrion. Like, I mean, it's amazing. There's probably like Empyrion has like ingots and stuff. Like the different. You got like what 7 or 8 or something like that. Different kinds of like main things you mine.
Right.
In this Minecraft, literally, there might be about 60 that you actually would physically mine. Yeah. And then there's all the alloys and mixtures creating like hundreds of other kinds of materials.
Right. No, I got you, dude. Like, so I mean, of course we just have some basic mods on ours, but the mods that we have, like, I made a well, Zovia helped me out, but I basically I made a mine underneath my base, and I did a rail card system. So that I could send the card back to the base. It would drop off in a box automatically, and then it would. I made a water elevator to go upstairs with all the stuff, and it automatically goes into the blast furnaces.
Oh, cool!
And
okay,
making that system took a lot of room. Like you can't build a small anything really in that game. It's really hard.
It is.
Redstone conflicts with things, and all this other crap, and it's just
redstone. That's so old school, man. I'm using like LV connector coils.
Whoa. Okay. All right. Yeah. I don't know anything about that, but yeah.
Oh, dude. I finally built all the parts to a reactor. That I got thorium for and some uranium that I had to put in a centrifuge to make like 238, and
wow, look at you.
But you need a lot of power because eventually once you get so far into it, you leave the planet and there's like tons of other planets and other dimensions, of course, and other things too. So it's just like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it sounds pretty nice.
But I tell you what, there's an aspect, and it's like part of the like the smeltery. Like you put together this big block structure, and it holds and then you put your your raw ore into it, and then you can and then it melts it, right? And then you built these dies, like one for ingot and one for like a block and maybe a nugget, or you can build other things to shape it into like a pick head, and then you assemble the tools. But dude, that whole aspect of it, I think that is really, really cool. I can't imagine if like a game like Empyrion, Empyrion looks like 9,000 times better than Minecraft, okay? and the building of the blocks and everything are way cooler here, but that logistics and all the stuff that's going on with this other thing, I just think would just be such an amazing add-on to Empyrion too. It's just like, wow, this would really work for Empyrion. Can you imagine, dude, I had to build like 20, 30 machines, and they're expensive, and you follow this quest guide and it kind of like talks you through this, but then it spews off into like other sides of things. Like there's dark magic and light magic and all this crop growing stuff and these special things and these other things and these bees and oh my god, dude, it's endless. It's endless. It's got more content than I've ever seen in anything ever.
Wow. That's cool, man.
Yeah, it is cool, but I gotta avoid doing much of that because that takes a lot of time.
Well, we were playing pretty hard, and then Donk discovered lava, and he lost everything. He had full diamond enchant armor and weapons and tools, and just lost it all instantly. And so he rage quit. And then he came on, I think, a couple days later, and it happened again. And
oh, jeez, yep. I remember the good old Minecraft days where I had the same thing happen to you. Fall in the lava, you die, it burns away all your stuff. At least in this mod, it doesn't work that way. It makes like a body grave. And the way I got it set, because it's really hard to, the mobs it spawns are mean and a lot worse than normal Minecraft and all these magic things and stuff. But it's there's an option where you can, well, first you can set down like a spawn point anywhere you want, at least the way I'm playing. And if you die, it sets a spawn point right there. All your belongings are in a grave and will not fall into the lava. And then you can spawn like right there and grab it again. However, if you grab it and you have stuff in your inventory and you can't pick it all up and there's stuff left, it will fall into the lava. So you got to be careful.
okay.
But yeah,
There's so many mods in that game. It's insane, dude.
This mod pack has 299 mods in it.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah,
we got the cooking mods, right? And the crop mod or whatever. The what is it, Pam's cooking mod or whatever. And I've been having fun with that, dude. Having like a little kitchen and shit. That's all like logistics driven and shit. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, dude, yeah. Dude, I think you would love this other stuff. It's a long haul though, man. It's not some kind of game you can get into and like just be done in like 10, 20 hours or something. It's like, yeah, it'd probably take you a couple years, literally. I mean,
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. There's people that just play Minecraft and that's their thing, and there's so much content that's totally, it's an easy thing to do, right?
Yeah.
That's all you need is content, Once you have stuff that you can actually do, I mean, yeah, it's endless.
Oh yeah, well, experiencing all this stuff too. I keep on thinking, obviously, of Empyrion because Imperium's Empyrium, and you got moving spaceships and all this other awesome stuff. But man, if you could like take some of those like the best parts of like a completely modded Minecraft and add it to Empyrium, oh.
Right. Yeah, I mean, from what we've heard from the dev and stuff, like they're not really interested in going the mod route. So I don't know. I mean, the mods, the technical mods that they have, which aren't really mods. I mean, they're just kind of scenarios, right? But, well, I guess it's a legit mod because things have changed. But, mod support, like actual, yeah, because, I think that they're worried about the responsibility of the game not performing, and honestly, like you look at Reforged, new players don't know any better, right? So they'll blame Reforged mistakes on the game at large, and it's kind of a, So I get some of that apprehension, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I think it enhances the game, and it makes the game enjoyable for people that have been playing it for years. And while they've already gotten our money, we're still the biggest springboard for new players. Like, we're the ones talking about the game, and if you can get people to still talk about the game after playing it for years and years, then that's a benefit, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. No, any game with like a nice robust mod support, a game that people like a lot. Think like Skyrim or something like that. Can you imagine Skyrim if it never had modding?
Right. Yeah, no. The best games have mods. It's so true. You look at Half-Life 2. You look at Battlefield series. You look at what's another one that has a ton of mods? There's a lot of games out there that just
Oh yeah, dude, I dig that. I mean, if you get a game and you really like it, of course you're going to want more, right? Just more. Any game, you just want more content. You want more of this, and you want to, and with modding, people, get into it, especially if it's isn't insanely difficult to mod it. Yeah, then people will add everything to it, and eventually you'll have that game.
Right. No, that's true, man. So what do you? So you're not building anything right now? No projects open?
Oh no. Well, okay. So the space station is more or less completed, except for something that. Well, actually, Garman suggested something to do with the LCD displays. I might look into because it looks. Yeah, he showed that it does work, and maybe I hadn't flipped the other way around or something that I couldn't get them to work. But so I've got a couple little things that I was gonna release pretty soon. Like obviously a couple things maybe in this weekend, like Sunday or something. You've seen them before though. It was a little like starter base and a little like defense turret thingy. So and then I got this MX4, which is just kind of a small, kind of more of a turret based, MX4. So that size.
Right.
But the next bigger project I haven't started it yet. And I kind of want to revisit the MCRN, and I was thinking about trying to build an Expanse style combat ship for the MCRN, like something that was made for late game stuff.
Really?
To be combat focused only, really. But there's one feature I thought about. But then I would like kind of blow away my idea of being completely combat focused, because I thought, well, what if the back end of, since those kind of ships are usually like long and skinnier, you know what I mean? Like the Expanse ships, they don't have big branching wings and stuff. How cool would it be if it could you could jump in a different cockpit and then back it in, and then it actually would dock into like a Helios dropship module port, so it could dock onto the space station or the Helios or anything else that supports that as the back of the ship. But if I did that, then I would have to add a hangar, which is going to add a lot of size and kind of blow away my original idea of this is going to be a combat only ship. So
Right. Well, so I mean, when you say is it a replica of something you've seen, or are you just?
No. Yeah, it's basically okay. So I watched all of it, season 5, Expanse, right? And thank you very much. And
Yeah.
you see a bunch of their ships, and I get the general idea of what's going on with the ships. Obviously, how they work with spinning around with the gravity and how the floors are set up. Now, I'm not going to go that far. I don't want to make a vertical interior ship for Empyrion, because I just think it would be very impractical, and especially if you wanted to land vertically too.
Yeah.
Although I know it's possible, it's a pain in the butt. It's just it just won't be a good ship to use in game for gameplay stuff. So I'll have a traditional horizontal interior in it, but it's just. If you take a look at those ships in there, they're basically really focused around like their forward thrust and then some turning thrust. So they're usually kind of longer and skinnier. It's just there's a general look and style. And then if you look at the MCRN side of things, like the Tachi, and there was another one that was in season 3, I believe, that was checking out the planet before the big, or maybe that was season 2. But yeah. There's other ones, and they kind of got that, more Fox-like destroyer look.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's kind of like I'm just taking like general guidelines of those things and just kind of go to town. So no, I'm not trying to build a ship from the game. It's just get inspired.
Well, that's good. I mean, that just means that you're not limited to. Because when you were talking about the module, I'm like, well, it'd probably be pretty hard to find a. You know what I mean? Find a ship that you'd be able to replicate that would also have that specific.
The Tashi was a replica, but yeah, this one it's just I just completely creative. I don't want to make another replica.
That's exciting though, dude. Because I mean, yeah, you have the Treb, right? and then you have like you have the Creel stuff, you have the Interfector and the
Bahamut.
Bahamut. Yeah, I was gonna say the
Yep.
demon Bahamut.
Yeah,
And then
both work.
yeah, and now so then having something for the MCRN fleet that's gonna be really cool, man.
I haven't actually done an MCRN thing. I think it's been over a year since I've touched MCRN. Scar's really I haven't done anything that I released for Scar in quite a while. I built a couple of those experimental like combat SVs, and but I never did release those.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, well, I mean, now is that because of you know, development wise, or I mean, because you know, with the Scar and everything, you know, there was it being integrated into the game and stuff like that, or is it just because you felt like you were boxed in by having to replicate?
Well, no, kind of what happened with me with all of them, even the Creel in the past too, is like you know, I'll start like a new thing, right? You know, like when I first did Creel, and then I built all this Creel, but then I burned myself out on it. So I build like, you know, 6, 7, 8 things of like that same style, and I'm like, oh, I'm sick of doing this, you know. And Scar was the same way. I was totally into Scar, and then it was just like, you know, 6, 7, 8 things, and it's like, oh, I'm getting sick of doing Scar, you know. So
Yeah.
it was the same thing with MCR, and you know, when I first did it, I built a bunch of it, and then I was like, okay, let's move on to something else again. So it's just kind of like a point, you know. So I kind of, for a while now, I revisited mostly human. So most of the stuff I did was all human, and except for those couple Creel different ships, combat ships.
Right.
But,
Well,
but yeah,
because
I got.
so many people have built Scar ships, so I mean, you know, that's kind of I think that's kind of a cool thing too, right? It's like, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
you might be inspired to make 3 or 4 Scar ships, and then you're like, then you feel that pressure, like, oh, it's a fleet, I need to have something for each type of ship, and but what's cool is like so many people have provided really cool ships for Scar, for Creel, for you know some of these, so I think that's cool. I mean, it kind of relieves a little bit of that pressure, I think.
Oh, I was just looking at a comment from Heckin Diver in the Twitch chat, and you know, that is something I really want to revisit. He asked if there was like a modular copy together yourself space station. I had a project a couple years ago, and it was basically building like all these like parts that were like certain sizes.
You showed that, yeah. I remember we showed that
Yeah,
on the stream. Yeah,
it, yeah, and I thought it was really cool, and it's a way to make really large stuff detailed, but relatively quickly, because you can just build like a part and just keep on reusing that part for hallways or rooms or whatever. Yeah, I love it, and I noticed Vermilion just did something like that he put on the workshop as well. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I was just like, yeah, that is really really cool. I haven't been back to it. Now, the problem I had with my original space station design like that is first, the way I was doing it, at least, it was neat and detailed and everything, but I felt it was wasteful on resources, because I was kind of like forced to build all the parts at one particular size, even if they didn't really need that much room, like hallways and stuff like that, and you know, to make them all fit right. And then I was like after you added like, you know, 10, 12 parts together to make something, all of a sudden I look at the size class and I'm like, oh man, it's already size class 14. Holy crap. You know, so it scared me. And I'm like, I don't know if this is the right idea, because I can be so much more efficient if I'm not trying to build modular, you know, with the amount of blocks that are getting used to get things done. You know, so I'm torn there. I love the idea of it, and if there was like a little procedural thing that could take all these, you know, like they do in Star Citizen, you know, with all those different like space stations and stuff, and ground buildings, they use like this little procedural algorithm to randomly put all these pieces together to build stuff, so you don't know what you're going to have necessarily, and an author doesn't have to hand place everything, which I love that idea.
yeah.
Game like this could hugely use that. But yeah, I don't know. So I keep thinking about it. I love the idea, but I would want to find a way that's more efficient with resource costs and the amounts of blocks being used. And that's my dilemma, because I just know if I build a dedicated space station that only configured like one way, like the one I just did, if I try to do that in some kind of modular form, I couldn't really pull that off. I just can't. So I don't think.
Yeah, it's the way that things are done. I mean, and this is I'll draw another comparison to Space Engineers. In Space Engineers, you can do that. What's really cool is you can take like a ship, let's say the Helios, right, and let's say a module. Let's say you just you know you want to permanently have that module in that Helios. You can I think it's called a merge block, and basically it makes that ship part of the ship. It integrates everything. It integrates all of the stats and whatever. It just makes it a part of the ship.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is amazing, and it's a block. So it's not like you have to go into creative and do a copy paste weird thing. It's like it just works in the game. And once that merge block's down, like that's it. And see, that's where it's like it's a block. It's possible. I don't, let's go. Let's do it,
Ultimately, what I would love to do is, say there was a block and you could like define the block as like a add-on point, right? So say you take like one side and you plan out like another creation that could fit right up there and right at that block. So when you go to like say you take this hangar module and you add it to your like production module, and there's that one block there that lets the hangar module know exactly where to go, and then you could add that on in game, like just provide the resources, blam, it's there, it's on your base. That would be amazing, and then I would be like so into that. But I keep on thinking too, like even with what Vermilion did, with the whole space station set, it's like that's only going to be, there's only a few people that are really going to use and utilize that. I mean, for creating POIs and stuff, that's wonderful. But how many players are actually going to sit there and like, okay, go hop into creative, figure out and rotate all the pieces around to assemble their own thing, save it, and then use that in game?
Yeah, I mean, it's and I think your mindset too is always focused on the broader brush, right? Like you want to build stuff for the largest pool of people because that's your audience. And I think I mean it's a cool idea, but I lose motivation with stuff like that when I know that the development's not going to make that process any more efficient. So it gets you know what I mean? It gets a little frustrating because we talk about the things, we go like, oh, it'd be really cool if there's a merge block or something like that, but I don't think that's ever going to happen, right? So then it's like, all right, well, let's carry on, do something else. It's just it gets frustrating.
Yeah, it's a lovely idea. I mean, it really is. I mean, if it was my game and my game engine and it could do all this stuff. I mean, there's so many different things I would want it to do over what it does already. I mean, I wouldn't want to like take away what it does already, but just keep adding to it. There's a lot that can be added.
Oh my god, yeah, no. There's a very specific time when, so it was a designer's challenge, and this was maybe 2 years ago. This was a long time ago, and I did a month where it was make 2 vehicles. I think it's when they first came out with like docking of HV to SV or something. There was no CV to CV docking, but it was HV to SV docking. And I was like, let's do something where we integrate 2 things, a CV or an SV and an HV, and make it functional. And I remember Pear did a really cool build where he had something go into something, and it was really cool. The concept was amazing, and I think it was even a replica of something, some other game or something, and it was great, but it was just so janky because of how the game interprets that docking, and doing that challenge drove me mad because, and I've explained this so many times in stream, in order to dock a HV, in order to pick up an HV with an SV, you have to go to the HV, you got to hover above it with the SV, get out of the SV, go into the HV, lift the HV up, hopefully dock, get out of the HV, find a way to get back up to the SV, and then take off.
Right, yeah, and if you land on a CV or something, then it won't land until you hop in the tank and remove it. Park
it. Oh my god! Like, who thought that was a brilliant idea?
Well, I didn't think it was supposed to ever I didn't think it was supposed to ever work that way. If you remember, but back in that time frame, I worked on the MCR and Condor, and then T-Rex did a. God, I'm trying to remember the exact name of it, but he made a tank specifically to fit the Condor, and the Condor was an SV. And I had the means to get back up into the ship. Due to this big ramp I had to build like into it, and then you could dock the tank on the bottom and fly away. But I mean, the logistics of like picking it up and dropping it off on a CV and stuff, it was such a pain in the butt after the fact, and it never got changed. And so I was just like, well, I never really had the desire to try to do something that worked that way again because it's too annoying. It's just too annoying to use in gameplay. However, CV modules, they're a lot less annoying. Being CVs and stuff, it just, like you dock, like the Helios modules and stuff. That I'm cool with. That mostly works.
Well, as long as you give them room, and that was the thing. Like, you could fit two things together super flush, but you don't want to do it a lot. Like the example is that modified Helios with the cool little front angle.
Oh yeah,
that looks really cool. But to do that over and over would be kind of.
Well, it's because I mean, it's in those cases it's a specific module designed to be right and left. It looks really cool, and it totally doesn't even look like they're modules there, at the end. But yeah, it is tougher, requirements doing that. And one thing I didn't want to do with modules is have to make like a right and left version. I just wanted a module fits this size, doesn't matter where that is,
So what do you think, man? You ready for season 3?
Yeah, sounds cool. But you got any? I always keep asking you this. You got any rough idea on time frame?
Yeah, we're looking at Saturday. This Saturday.
Oh wow.
Yeah, let's do it. No, I'm kidding. I don't have any idea.
Okay. I didn't know Saturday was coming already. I was
no. I'll tell you in advance, way in advance, at least a couple weeks in advance. Yeah, I mean, we're hoping next month. That's the hope. I mean, because honestly, I personally am going to be going up to the States in August to take my daughter to college. To get her going for college. So I'm gonna be gone for a couple weeks. I'm gonna bring the laptop though, so I think I'll still be able to do all the streaming and stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Because I mean, before I had this great computer, I was on the laptop, so I'm thinking the laptop could still run Empyrion okay at least, and we'll see. We'll figure a way to make it happen. But I just might not be on camera or something, but I'll still do the stream.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so that's the idea, hopefully next month, and we get everything tested, we get it all organized, we'll be able to. I'm excited though. I'm excited to use all the stuff, man. I mean, we got the Janus. I'm thinking of maybe utilizing the Take 2 as well at some point. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. It depends on how we start. But the Janus, and then getting up there, getting the I mean, there's going to be a lot of other things. We're going to have to get SVs, HVs, and eventually the space station. I'm more hyped about getting the space station first than I am about getting like the Helios, or even if we're going to be using the same Helios, if we're going to do something different. I don't know, but
right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited about it, man. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of fun, man.
I thought, honestly, at the end of last season, there was one point in time when we were both going to grab a Plutus M2, and both wanted to do mining, and you were suggesting taking like this other ship, and we could dock the one to the other, and then I had this weird idea, never tried it before, where we just docked the two Plutuses right together,
Yeah.
right at where their door was. Oh, dude, I thought that was the coolest thing. It was like a little truck. And as soon as you got there, because they could warp together, and then as
Yeah.
soon as you got there, you just simply like walked like it was you were in the same ship, and you hopped in the cockpit, you took off, and you were like two separate ships. And I was just like, yeah, I just thought that was cool. I keep on thinking of that idea, like, could you do more with it or not? You know?
Dude, so now that you just said that kind of gives me an idea, right? So, and I do not want to go back to my jetpack thing. I mean, but I'm gonna take Garriman's, right? So Garriman's jetpack. Yeah, I don't know if you're still watching the stream, but
Yep.
so imagine this, but imagine it instead of one dock, it's got one dock on each side, but it's only half as long. And then that way, it could basically, you could pull in two Plutuses butt to butt, and in the center is the actual CV that you would, fly around with, and you just have a Plutus in front of you and behind you, and then we would just both get out of the respective sides and go back into our miners. So it'd be like this middle coupler CV that would couple the two Plutuses. And it would have a warp drive. That's kind of I don't know. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because that's a situation, right? Like that, honestly, that's got to be one of the biggest situations that you have as a group in a Helios is, hey, let's go mine together. Why are we warping separately when we could just warp together? Well, we don't want to take the big Helios. What do we do? And it's like, yeah, you could take the jetpack, one person could pull in, the other one could go on top. But to make it cool, make like a coupler jetpack where you could, couple the two together and then just go together.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Well, I mean, I guess when I was first thinking of the Helios obviously being a CV, I was just thinking, well, I didn't really look at something like that because I was just like, well, you're supposed to move with the Helios, so you can warp everything at once. You always got your base with you, and you don't leave it like somewhere and then go back to it. Then then it kind of defeats the purpose. You might as well just have a space station,
Right. Well, but see, this is the thing. So, like, we go into a system, and there's 4 different mining planets that we want to go to. I don't want to move the Helios to every individual planet. Let's leave it at the star where it's safer, and then let's just go in like a coupler with a couple of miners. And that's what we did the whole first 2 seasons. We rarely moved the Helios to go do mining evolutions, right? Like, it was always like, hell, the whole last month of the server, it was just sitting there at the Polaris station. So
pretty much,
yeah, you know what I mean. So I think now there maybe is a maybe a smaller Helios, like a 2-dock Helios would be a good answer. But I think on top of that, I think it would be cool to just have a little micro coupler that would couple the two together, but would still have the function of the warp drive, maybe a little defense, maybe a little whatever. Just it'd be a small situation, right? But it wouldn't have to be big. You wouldn't need these big. This is built to go on planet and stuff and 4G and all that, but you get some
well, that there, like say you had the P module, right, which has like just crap for thrust. It wasn't made to move any weight, but it's got like 320K storage and all that. But if say you wanted to take that down to a planet and use it on planet for a while, it doesn't have its own means to get back off the planet. So yes, you would need this.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, this serves so many cool purposes, right? I mean, this gives you the ability to warp with a module. It gives you the ability to go planet side, the ability to... I mean, there's just so many uses for this little guy. And it fits in the Helios as a module. So, I mean, it's yeah. I don't know, dude. Now I'm thinking I should try to build something like that. Or maybe hopefully Garriman's already starting to build something.
No, well, that ship you're working on, that's really, really sweet looking right now. You got to keep on working on that.
Yeah.
I don't care. Yeah. No more like, squirrel. No. Stick with it and finish it. I know it's a pain in the butt. It's a lot more fun to starting them than it is finishing them.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you're telling me. There's like 10 things before this I haven't released. At least 10.
Yeah. Well, I got a lot of unreleased stuff too, and unfinished stuff. Yeah, it's scary. I don't know. At this point, I'd rather just release, a few things here and there, but just make sure they're like something neat, like really, a lot of time was put into it and tweaked and stuff, rather than having a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
And that's it. I mean, that's what stops me, is if I'm not like super into the build, then yeah, I just kind of get over it.
Yeah,
that's always been my issue.
Yeah.
Why is that the other way around? What? Oh, boo! Yeah, they just need to fix that.
You could try putting like a vent on the one front double texture, or even one of those the certain texture light that works really good with like a half block, and then have the other one something else, and then there's no problem. But yeah, if you use the same texture, it's gonna look stupid no matter what texture you use. Honestly, though, I mean, for you, like, I know you hate the texturing and the coloring and all that. But I tell you what, I mean, if you just keep on working, like, this ship is beautiful, right? If you get the texturing just like the best you've ever done, ever, and have it on there, it'll be all in your memory, essentially. So the next time you go to build a ship, rather than like farting around like what's going to look good and what's not going to look good on this, you just know. You're going to just start to know, and then the texturing takes a whole lot less time to do.
Yeah, I hear you, Jay. Yeah, no, I honestly, like, after what was the stream, the last Designers Challenge, where I pretty much said, we're gonna do the crazy Z method. We're just gonna do some really cool tones and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
Not yet. I'm not there yet. I haven't finished doing the cool part of the build, which is like the blocks.
Yeah, no, yeah, man, that's no.
What's funny too, though, is like what I realized too is when I first started building, I did a lot of texturing because I used texturing as a crutch because I didn't know how to shape. So once I got into shaping and enjoyed shaping a lot more, I now don't like texturing. Like, it's like 2D version of block shaping. That's what texturing is, right? And it's fun. I mean, it's very useful, and it looks, it looks amazing when stuff's textured. Don't get me wrong. I know the end result is amazing, but it's just, it's like, I don't know. It's like your daughter gives you a plate of Play-Doh food. It looks like food, but it's Play-Doh. I can't eat it. And then, like, I'd rather have a nice steak, and that's a bad reference, but you know what I mean? Like, texturing's cool, but
Well, I guess it depends where your mindset is. In my mindset, at least when I'm feeling good about everything, and I'm totally into what I'm trying to make. It's about what is the best I could possibly try to make this look with what I know how to do. So if there's like, and I see some areas that I didn't do anything with, this flat area, and it's like, I don't have any textures there, or there's no colors, or what if I, I'll experiment. I'm like, well, what if I put like a little red dash here, and then put this texture light here, and then put this other kind of texture here, color that a little darker shade, and it's stuff like that. But I mean, the end goal is to try to make it look the very best you possibly can. And it's not, it doesn't matter about time. It's just like your goal is, it's like building a model car. Like you want, if you're really into building model cars, you're going to want to try to make it look just the best you possibly can. Everything's perfect, and it's the same thing with this. It's like you're modeling this out, and you want it to look the best you possibly can with the tools that you've got,
Right.
So if you get in that mindset with it, then it's not a thing. It's like textures and colors. It's like, even with me though, sometimes it's just like I want to get something done, and I won't, maybe I'll do like a base coat of like textures and colors pretty quickly, and then and then like just throw it out the door. But then sometimes I'll look back and I'm like, man, I could have spent more time with this area and maybe try to dial this in a little better, or tweak the lighting, or added a texture, or added something over here, or even decals. I use decals an awful lot. A lot of little weird white lines and stuff that I just try to fit into the whole thing. That space station, that's probably got more decals on it than any other creation I've made.
Yeah.
And but they're very indiscriminate. They're like little like half block border sides that you only see just a little bit of a white line decal. But it's just stuff like that,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you get into that mindset, it's not about getting it done. It's about making it look the best you possibly can after you got like your hardware tweaked out, like it works. Like it's got enough thrust and generators, and
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, and that's I get what you're saying. Like once you the problem with me is I'll build something and I'll be passionate about the idea of it, and then maybe when I get about halfway through it, I realize that the efficiency isn't quite there, the function's not quite there, and I lose the interest in the build. And by the time I get to the texture phase, I'm like, this turned out okay, but it's not, there's a couple builds that, like when I redid oh god, what's the name of your SV? The one I redid, the Chimera, right? When I redid that, I was super passionate about that, right? Like I love that.
Oh yeah,
I love the way it turned out. I was just totally digging it. Like
your version looks so much better than the original.
So thank you. But so I took the time to really dial it in, the inside, the outside. I spent so much time on that thing. I spent more time than I've ever textured anything else I've ever done. But that's it, because I was really passionate about it. But like there's been, like, you take the Monbel. I lost, when it was I think it was something to do with CPU or something to do with something. It just broke the build for me, and I was like, oh man, Oh no, you know what it was? It was the flight system. When the flight system came in, it ruined it because it was an asymmetrical build and the thrust was unbalanced, and it just moved weird. And I was like, oh well, that's ruined. It's asymmetrical. How do I fix that? I'd have to completely redo everything, and I was like, all right, well, this is done. And this was before Reforged. I could probably still finish it and it would work okay for Reforged, but so it's things like that. I think I get I don't know, I get a little, because honestly, like I feel like if I start to put too much discipline into building about finishing it, because in life, I have that discipline. I'm able to finish things. I'm able to put my nose down and do the job. But if I treat this like that, it becomes a job. It's not fun anymore. And if I'm not enjoying it, I don't want to do it, because then this isn't going to be enjoyable for me anymore.
You have a valid point there. You definitely do. I mean, there are builds. A lot of times, some builds, if they're small and quick enough, they're done before you know it. But with me, some of the bigger builds, even like this, the recent space station, when I was about halfway into that, man, I got really tired of working on it. It was just like, it became a job, but but sometimes, even when I feel that way, I'll force myself to jump in and try to get something done. And, and it helps if I just focus on a small area at a time. Like one day I hopped on and there was that one little bar off to the side on the top floor. And I was just like, I'm just going to work on this area. This is just like, I'll treat it like a separate build. This is just this little area. And then, before I know it, I lost track of time, which is wonderful when you do, because then you're not like worried about it. It's just like you're all about the build and not like how much time this is taking, because that'll scare the crap out of you.
Right. No, it's true. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, and then I just kind of did that. But once you get like that area done, then it's just like, well, yeah, this stuff over here doesn't look good. But then you want it to look as good as the other part, and then eventually you get it done on the big builds. The worst being for me was the Leviathan. That hurt. That hurt. That was painful.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's a different thing. That's a different motivation. Like, that was purely a community motivation. It wasn't about the function of it. It wasn't about, it was required for something. It was, it was a
Oh yeah.
proof of concept, a community proof of concept. And it was, so
Yeah.
that's the
Well,
difference. I would never, I would never. You, I just, not even from the first line that you did, and like, because I'm imagining you like pulling blocks and then running out of blocks and having to go back to the H menu and get more. That's where I'd be done. I'd be like, wait a minute, did I just use a whole stack of blocks just to do the length of this? No, we're done.
oh yeah. Well,
Yeah, no, I'm good.
yeah.
But no, I get, so like the Zyphos, like this thing right here, like this was because I wanted a full combat CV for season, what was it, season 1, right? And I was like, you got your Treb, and it's like, no, I need something, right? Let's do this. And that's what motivated me. And I almost gave up on it, and then Neuro helped me out with the what was it, the Fibba whatever sequence thingy, and he got me thinking about it, and I got reinvigorated, and I finished it. I even textured it and did cool insights and stuff. And then it got ruined again when the explodey everything happened. And
oh yeah, I know. Yeah, there's been a lot of setbacks with game changes and stuff too.
Yeah.
And,
but they're saying the Mando ship, and I do like the Mando ship, but again, it's that it's some of
dude. I mean, seriously, to a lot of people, I mean, you when you think about it, you're only thinking about people that are like hardcore playing like season 3 or whatever, and everything's got to be like perfect for gameplay, or you're not going to like it. But I tell you what, the ships I've got with the most subs on them are typically not those ships. They're typically things like the Leviathan that might not even have a great gameplay purpose, but more people seem to sub that than anything else.
Yeah.
Besides very small utility vehicles like miners and stuff. But,
Right, but no, and I hear you. But I mean, my thing is, the subbing's cool and everything, but for me, a lot of those ships are, they're subbed, they're looked at, they're appreciated, they're, it's art, but if I can't play in it and enjoy myself in it, it frustrates me. But I do like this ship. I love the shape of it. There's aspects of it that I want to fix, like maybe some of this front looks a little redundant. A lot of work still on the shaping and stuff. But for me, it was a little bit of the function of it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But I think I did recently do some revisioning to this. I mean, like you pull up here, and this is way outside of replica at this point, right? So I have a little more freedom to kind of make it a functional ship that lightly encapsulates the Mando cruiser or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be a replica. It's going to be just an inspiration of it.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, the closest I did to a replica, and the only one is the Tachi, and I like even the space station. It had a reference, a space station that was in a game called Sins of Solar Empire, or called a Starbase. That's where I gained the idea of the general like top shaping of this base. But of course, I had to make it work with Empyrion and then scale it down by about 5,000% versus what the other game actually portrayed it to be. But yeah, I mean, yeah, but no, I mean, like a ship like this one, I keep on thinking, a lot of times it's really cool just if you have a really good looking textured ship, right? Even to use it as like think about like taking like screenshot art, like taking actual game shot or screenshots inside of Empyrion and like positioning a bunch of ships around in a nice looking like environment, pick your time of day and your weather and your planet and all that stuff, and make like a Windows background screen. And you want your ships to look as cool and as realistic as possible, like you're looking at a trailer to a new Star Wars or Expanse movie or something, And that is a motivation too. Like a ship like this, I think just full on detail, like detail the crap out of it, make it look like, from a little bit of a distance, like it's photorealistic practically, or as close as you can. and then be like, yeah, that's it. You know, whether or not people are using this in active gameplay, a bunch will spawn it, check it out, and I've got it around now as an asset for when I take future screenshots.
Yeah.
That I could throw this in the background and make my screenshot look cooler.
Right. I don't know if this would work for vanilla. It might. I mean, but I know they take blocks into account for CPU and vanilla, so I'm not sure if it would meet the 10 million. But you could get an advanced core, I guess. But then that's what, 1 million or something. I don't know.
That is one thing I recently relearned between storage or CPU costs versus vanilla and Reforged Eden is vanilla charges way more for storage. I was not
the container extensions, really.
Yeah, oh yeah, big time. Like for instance, I was not worried about the space station I was building at all, CPU wise. Wasn't concerned whatsoever. Didn't think it was gonna be a problem. It didn't have like turrets. It's not like doing expensive CPU stuff. Besides a bunch of constructors and furnaces and stuff, but I could scale those back to whatever, right? So it doesn't matter. And then all of a sudden I bring it into vanilla, stripped down with no turrets on it, this and that, and I totally blew the CPU on vanilla. And I'm like, oh, why is my CPU so high? And I'm like all freaking out about it. Well, it turned out is because I had 26 cargo systems on it. And that sucks up an amazing amount of CPU in vanilla for bases. And so in vanilla CPU does not go to base CPU does not go to 10 million like the CVs do. It was over CPU. So I literally, my first idea was to have like 10 reserve bays. So I had to unload all those like 10 storage bays in it, make sure all the blocks work out so players could put them back in. Plus, right on top of that, set up a system, to add another 12 solar panels that you have to dig into the body to place them that are right over the storage things. Oh, what a nightmare. It caused me all kinds of trouble right when I released it. Not having O2 and then a few, it was kind of a nightmare with that, but
I can imagine.
Yeah. 26 cargo systems. Well, it's got 16 or bullet magnet. It's got 16 in its stock, and then there's 10 reserve bays on the other side of the hangar that you fill in the cargo extensions yourself and put the controller at the front. It's all designed for it. They perfectly fit, come out to 320, but yeah. I had to remove them. I was going to cheat. I was just going to have them in there at first. At first I thought I was going to have them how they were, and I'm like, that's a pain in the butt. It's going to be a lot of work to make sure they all work out right, especially with the solar panels right there too. And then when I brought it in vanilla and realized it can't work, I had to. So, and I switched it all around again. One person is shit. 26. Well, on when it came down to storage on this, I'm just kind of responding to a comment.
Yeah.
I just, we had the Helios, and we had like modules that had like, I don't know, God, we brought in that big one. What did that have? 24 or 32 320s in it. The one by that was Caraman, right?
Yeah, 20.
Yeah, 20. But we had that one plus, like the P module with like another 8 in it and something else, and we didn't have enough room, and then we needed a second one of those. So we're already up like 40, 60, 320K modules or container systems, and then it's like, so I look at like 26 now on a space station, and I'm like, that's nothing. That's no big deal. People fill that up pretty quick. It used to be a lot.
No, it's true. I mean, like, and we're nothing, compared to a lot of other people, right? Like we're like child's play compared to what these guys are doing in game. These guys are like mass salvaging and just doing insane stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, when we did all those base tours too, we seen some of those people, and they built those giant like base things that were nothing but like container systems, like one after another. And it's, oh, this one's another 60 over here, and I've got the other 120 bay over here, and that's about 9 billion kilotons. But we're gonna need that when we build our superstructure.
No, it's a different thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, stuff can fill up a lot, especially if you're salvaging and blocks, or if I don't know how many people actually build in survival. I personally, I want to, and then I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's like gameplay purpose. It would be kind of fun to build in survival, but then if creative, you realize how much more stress and heartache you're going to put yourself through, and how much longer it's going to take, and you're probably not going to achieve as good a job you could have done in creative.
No, it's honestly it's annoying. I mean, it's the game has one of the best creative building platforms and one of the worst survival building platforms.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
I love how Dual Universe does it. That's the one thing I really liked about Dual Universe is that you go into this build mode and you're still in survival, but like you have this like force field that you can build in, and it defies the laws of gravity and everything, and you're able to be in there kind of building in this augmented state. It's really cool.
That is a good idea. I was thinking about that too. I'd like if I was gonna make my own like voxel game like this, how would I want to do it? I like the idea of prefabs and everything. But one thing I was thinking about that I kept on thinking would be really, really cool as a function is has to do with spawning things. Now, okay, you get all the resources, you put it into your factory that's some invisible entity or something. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but it works and it's pretty easy. And then you just place it somewhere. I mean, you could put on the option that it's got to be on a landing pad or something. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me either, especially for a space station, But I keep on thinking, what the ultimate way to do it, or a better way to do it? I won't say ultimate, but what if you had to build like a building that had these, big enough area for whatever you're spawning like in it, and have like certain machine parts, like maybe they could be like some kind of 3D printers or something that it has to be on the edges of the building, and that's your internal space on which you can spawn a creation in. So if you wanted to build a bigger ship, you need a bigger, thing to spawn it at. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of it, but it could be a pain in the butt too. So.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, anything would just be better than.
Yeah.
I mean, it would, because honestly, I think that's a big part of the game that's missing too, is the not for the smaller stuff. The smaller stuff, you can, if you're a talented builder, you've got a little bit of knowledge, you could build like a good looking HV or SV. It's the CVs, and when you get into the bigger things, it's like it's doable, but God, you're really taken out of the immersion of the game. It gets a little, I mean, it'd be nice if there was some mechanics and there was a little bit of immersion of like let's say in order to build like a big CV, you gotta have this like shipyard, prefabricated shipyard like thing, and I don't know, just something that gives you cause,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when you're doing it, it's like, okay, you're logistically, you've gotta be near something that you can, imagine building the trebuchet in survival. So what do you have to have? You have to have a lot of cargo for all your building materials. You got to be able to tether to those building materials, which is very limited in space, right? So you got to be able, how do you do that? You got to stay within a certain parameter. You got to use your drone. It'd be cool if there was some kind of a shipyard module that you can spawn, and then you're put in this different mode, and logistics just works like for whatever range you need it to work for, and I don't know. It's in my head, but I'm not saying it right. But
I'm also starting to like the ideas of like wires and fluids too. Since I was dealing with so much of
man.
that and Minecraft, like wiring things up, I thought that was actually a lot of fun. I just keep on thinking in Imperium, I was like, well, what if you could run like remote, power to small things, right? Maybe constructors, something like that. But if but you gotta like your shield. If you have a shield, it takes a lot of power. It's got to be like hardwired into your like reactor. Stuff like that I think would be really cool. Just not everything. So you don't want to run wires everywhere. That would suck and take up a lot of space. But
Right.
big parts, warp drive, shield. They got to be hardwired into like your power plant. Or I think I would go with reactors of some origin. And you could have different kinds of reactors that even take different kinds of fuels, which would be really cool.
Right. No, I mean, yeah. There's so many things that I would absolutely love to have, but
Yeah. Well, some of the most fun I had, like in the other game, I got to this point, going through the quest thingy, and it's like, okay, well, build all these blocks and build like this base smeltery thing, and I didn't tell you how to build it, so I found a YouTube video, and then I'm like, but it's completely scalable, so it's just like, okay, you have to kind of build it like this way. It's got to have these kind of parts, and this is what's going on. But then after that, it's just like, well, now I want to make a custom one. I need more inputs and I need more outputs, and I want to get to do more of this. So now I'm building this giant thing, and I'm like integrating it into the base with like fluid output runs and like all this. So you literally pour the molten stuff out of there, and it dries and it fills up the. That's just so cool, man. I wish this game had that. Sounds like Space Engineers. Yeah, Space Engineers is just a game I'm scared of because I haven't played it short of about a half hour like 4 years ago, and I probably would like it. I probably would like it. It's just I don't have time to get into it. It's the thing, and I've been waiting for a dream game. And Imperium's got some elements of that, but could go a lot further.
Space Engineers is. How do you let me try to like wrap my head around this. I would compare if I was comparing these games to like sci-fi universes. I would say like Empyrion would for me it would encapsulate maybe Star Wars or even like Star Trek or something like that, right? A lot of like beyond belief kind of mechanics and just kind of like I accept that works. I accept that I can warp through another ship and destroy it. Sure, let's do it, right? But Space Engineers is more expanse. It's more literal space simulation stuff. It's very you have externals and people. There's a guy that actually built the Tachi in Space Engineers and looks freaking amazing. He does MCRN stuff in Space Engineers, and not only does it look cool on the outside, of course you don't have all the shapes. You have 45s, you don't have 22 and a half, you don't have any of that, but you do have 45s. But there's internals, so you have conveyor systems with tubing that you have to run all throughout. You have to run oxygen throughout the ship. You have to your cargo systems have to run throughout the ship to get you have to run conveyor systems to your weapons so that the ammo can go to the weapons to reload them. You have to oxygenate the seats so that the pilot has oxygen. I mean, it's nice. Very, very, very detailed. Small blocks, big blocks, they all work within the same build and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff that you could do in Space Engineers building wise. The problem is you get this build and then what do you go do? You basically play astronaut. And when I say play astronaut, that's kind of what you're doing. You have to motivate yourself to get content. There's no real purpose behind any of it. There's tons of mods, there's tons of really cool things you can add to the game to enhance it, to make it look cool, to give you really cool function, but at the end of the day, there's no real AI, there's no POI kind of stuff, I mean, if there is, they're mods, and they're kind of janky, and, so right. It'll break your heart in a different way, but it's definitely, dude, we gotta do a stream on it at least, at some point. we got to do a like, hey, let's try Space Engineers and you know not now, probably maybe after season 3 or something. This would have been the good time to do it if we but you got buried in some good builds and stuff. But man, maybe after season 3's done or whatever, we can try that out. I think it'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, that is the thing. I mean, yeah, any game to me, I want it to be a complete package. Like, sure, I love all that stuff. I love the some complexity of the stuff I was talking about and the stuff you were just talking about. But it's got to be a game, man. I want more than all. I want to go out and adventuring. I want a complete game. I want a reason to build all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I can get further into the game, so I can do more stuff. It's just that's what I want. So if you have any of these that don't have a game that works very well, like Space Engineers, even Dual Universe, with they're lacking that big chunk of what I want. So it's a turnoff to me. I mean, although it might have excellent building in it, if you're building for no reason,
well, don't let me misrepresent it either, because I mean, they do one or two things extremely well, and it's a very deep rabbit hole. Mining is an extremely deep rabbit hole. Base building, just working with conveyor systems and doing all the really cool, intricate processing systems, and you'll get into some really fun, deep mechanical engineering stuff that's really rewarding, like what you're talking about with Minecraft. Like, that's the fun of the game. It's that simulation problem solving of managing resources, building a base, oxygenating it, doing a lot of these really cool things. That's the fun of the game.
If it only had that, I wouldn't like it either. But the thing is, you're constantly out exploring, find new places, dungeon crawling, and there's dungeons all over the place, and there's so much more to it, So it's just like, I don't want one game that's all you do is one thing, whether that be building or just out questing. I want it, where there's like all these different things to do, because I'm not in the mood to be building all the time. I'm not in the mood to be adventuring all the time. It's just like, so like even Empyrion, especially if you were building in survival itself. It's just like, okay, well, you could go out and you could shoot up a couple POIs, and you come back and spend the next like 6 hours sitting around your base building a base and adding new stuff to it. And then you could go out and do another adventure, and it's like, oh, now I need some more resources. But then it becomes fun to get the resources, like, oh, I really got to have some gold or whatever, or I can't build this other thing, and I want to build a lot of these things, and it's gonna be really expensive, so I need a bunch of iron and a bunch of this, and that's like self-motivating. That's where I think the game really becomes fun at that point in time. It's just everything blends.
Right. Yeah, and I'm saying that's achievable in Space Engineers. It's just, so as a builder and as somebody that likes to tinker with systems and creating efficiency, I mean, it's very open world in that aspect. Like, you can do whatever you want. Like, I'll give you an example. You start out in a landing pad and you can land on a planet or whatever. So there's different ways to mine. You can mine by hand. You can build a mining vehicle. Like, you can convert your drop pod into a landing vehicle, a mining vehicle, or you can actually build a base platform, and you can get a piston, and you could put a drill module on a piston, and you could mine that way, and you could basically push that thing into the ground and mine, and create like a mining rig out of a base. Yeah. I mean, so there's so many different ways to solve problems, because you have rotors, you have pistons, you have, you have all these really cool blocks. You have drone blocks, remote blocks, where basically you can build, like, let's say the Merc MX-8. You want to fly that around, you could take the cockpit out of that MX-8 and you can put a remote drone block in there, and then you can sit at your base on a console and you can fly it remotely.
Oh, that's cool. That is really cool.
So like what I had a mining.
I do all these like fights with that. It's just like, you fly around all this. Yeah, if it gets shot down, you build another one and do it again.
Imagine having a little fighter SV, internally in the Treb, and you can deploy it and you can fly it and go attack other things, as a co-pilot on the trip. So there's those types of things that are really cool. You can actually script predefined coordinate paths for your miner, and it can remotely mine by itself and come back, soft dock to your base, pull whatever resources you choose to pull from it into your processing system, and send it back out, all automated. So, like I said, there's huge rabbit holes you can go into in the game. But, once you've, but that's anything. I mean, I have probably 600-700 hours in Space Engineers, and I did everything I kind of wanted to do. So, yeah, you know what I mean? It's just, it's what you want to do. And, I have thousands of hours in Empyrion because, that's the difference for me. There's more I want to do in this game.
Empyrion for me was much easier to get into, at least on this very old version of Space Engineers. When I first tried it, it was it was confusing as all get up. Me and Buddy picked it up, and tried it out, and an hour later we're like, oh, what are we doing? I don't know. We're supposed to this thing, and I don't know what it's talking about with this, and we're just like totally confused and like already wanting to go up to Google and watch some YouTube videos to figure out what the heck was going on. And I don't know. I guess it was a turn off, and at that point in time, some other games came out too, and I went to the other games. This is one of them, and then I didn't come back. That's the thing.
Yeah, and that's usually how it goes, right? I mean, you get, there's so many options, but then, you get down, you play a little bit of them, and then you're kind of, I don't know. You're always searching. You're always searching for something better. Like, there's no game out there that just stops you. This is one of them. I mean, this game stopped me searching, for a lot.
Oh, yeah. There's an awful lot of games and shows I didn't watch in the world or play because of this game.
Yeah. No, it's true, yeah. But, the game breaks your heart too, right?
Well, at this point, what I want is more. I want more. I want more blocks. I want more things. I want more resources, more bad guys, more POIs, more stuff to do in the game. I just want more on all fronts, really. I mean, literally everything, just more. And that's the problem. That's why I want the mod community, or devs that really want to add more. And that's I'm kind of at the point now where like all these things, like build like HP for a challenge, build SP for a challenge. You know how many of these individual things I've already built?
Yeah.
I mean so many that it's just like, unless I got some new crazy idea, I'm just kind of like, I've been there, done that. It's just like doing the same thing again, and that gets old.
Of course, yeah. And I see that too. Like, we fluctuate a lot. I mean, we have new people come in, and some people choose to leave and everything. But we generally have about the same, per month as far as people that submit. But it's definitely not the same people. And that's fine, because it's true. It's like, it's very similar to this month or that month, and I try to spread it out, but and I still have some in my head that need to be done, but I'm also, especially before seasons, I'm trying to give everybody options for vessels that they can use in the community. So, the past 2 or 3 months have been focused around Season 3 and what we can use. So we have a starter CV, we have starter SVs and stuff, or not just starter SVs, but any kind of SVs, and now HVs, and you know what I mean. So it's based on a lot of it's based on that. Now we have drop bases, like a base that you can, and you've done a bunch of them. You've done MCRs and stuff. You have some.
I think about 160 creations on the workshop. So it's getting to the point too where it's like, unless I come up with some fantastic new idea, just building like another SV to build an SV got old, I guess, unless it's like doing something different than I did anything before, or some new idea.
Well, what keeps you going? What keeps you going? I guess that's the question. Like, what keeps you building?
Well, inspiration of getting inspired by something, or trying to like think up something new on how something else could work, or some just once in a while maybe just see something, or have this vision of something that you think would be really really cool, like mental vision of like a shape or something that you'd really want to do something with it. But a lot of times it's really about I get excited about new features added into the
That's true,
games,
dude.
like hey, I haven't built a bomber, and I haven't. And that's something that I could do, but that's only what Reforged. And I was going to build a bomber, but I wanted to sit back and see if the actual game mechanics for the bombs was homed in better, because what I seen, it was really janky, and it was almost too janky for me to want to bother trying to use something like that in a game.
Yeah, well, remember, that's not even a Elion thing. That's a Vermilion
Yeah,
thing, so...
well, exactly, and,
Yeah.
and also, and then then it wouldn't be useful for anybody in vanilla and stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's why, of course, I want the vanilla game to have more, so then there'd be more to do. Even me with like designing stuff. Yeah, what if like tomorrow they threw down like another 50 new blocks that we could use? Yeah, that would be motivational. I could do stuff with new blocks that I haven't been able to do before, and stuff like that. But when there's just nothing for a very very long period of time, and you've like literally built everything, it gets to the point where it's like you're gonna run out, man. What else you could really want to build anymore, and I'm close to that point. I really am. I'm like, I don't, I could think of things of building even another faction or something like that, and it'd be kind of fun for a little bit. But I'm just going to be reincarnating things that I've already built like 18 different versions of, you know.
Yeah, see, so I hear you, and I feel, I feel similar, but we're not playing the game right now, and I think I could ask you. My next question would be, how many builds were you inspired to do in the past couple months that were based on our Let's Play and what we did in the game? And it was pretty much most of what you built. You built the
Well,
interfector. Why would you ever build the interfector before we were playing in the game? Why? You know what I mean? Like, these things never would have come to you. You would have been like, I need something that can shoot 80 turrets at a base. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you thought of that because, and look what we got. We got this really interesting, awesome freaking Creel build, right? You look at the Bahamut. You look at these are driven by playing the game, and
well,
you're not
it
playing the
was
game
it
right
was
now.
Well, it was an exciting aspect knowing that yes, you can get your butt kicked pretty easily in Reforged Eden space. I don't know how vanilla reached to that, um, and I didn't have ships of that class, of that type of firepower,
Mm.
that could do that kind of thing. I never built, that, like the Nemesis was probably my toughest, and and that wasn't necessarily worthy. So all of a sudden it was just like, bing! Now I've got motivation. I've got something that I don't have that I really need or really want in game, and there's my motivation. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
But now and on, I'm sitting back even in that category. If I wanted to go with Creel, at least I've got a couple ships that I know would work. um, but my motivation right now, like the only thing I could really think of that I really would like to have is try it again and build but a different style ship for the MCRN, combat oriented kind of thing. But I'm also not sure if I want it to exceed weapon limitations, of vanilla weapon limitations, like I did with the other ones. But that takes a lot of fun out of it. I'd rather not have that limitation, because I think it's kind of restrictive. It's just, but then again, maybe it
It's a
crashes the
vanilla
game.
game option though. So remember, like, that's a limitation based on how people decide to play their game. I mean, there is a thing you can turn off in the thing, for block limits or whatever. You don't have to play with block limits in vanilla. So that's not just a
Right.
reforged thing. Like, it's, you can also do that in vanilla. So
Yeah, well, I guess again, me, I usually build for like I guess you would say the mainstream, right? So mainstream general population, and it's like, well, how far do I go? Because I've noticed that I hate putting out dual releases of the same thing, like for Reforged Eden and Vanilla. I hate it. I just it's so much extra work. It's so much more annoying. Um, but you know, if I don't, I'd rather build just for Reforged Eden because there's more, right? And I want more. Um, but then there's a lot of people that just they don't want Reforged Eden, they want vanilla. So I'm kind of like always at crossroads. Do I go like full out and build like just another Reforged Eden only thing? Have maybe half the people that would have maybe looked at it actually do that. Like one of my biggest disappointments over the last bit of time. There's a ship that I thought was pretty cool. I thought it was one of my better looking ships from outside visual standpoint, and that's the Bahamut. It's one of the worst performing things I've had on the workshop, and it's just like, well, I'm thinking wrong. That one didn't care about weapon limits. It was Reforged Eden, so it's restricted on two things right off the gates.
Mm-hmm.
And building like that, I don't know, and that's
Well, what's so then? I mean, I guess that just depends on what your motivation is. I mean, if your motivation is to, is sub count, then yeah. I mean, obviously, you got to think.
It's not motivating. I really don't care about it. It's just you do see the things, and it's just like I kind of know what, well, to some extent, what people want more than other things. But it's like when you go hardcore, disregard weapon limits, build reforging and only, they don't do that well.
Yeah.
And it's a good reason for it, because you're restricting so many people away from being able to use it.
Kermit says we don't use it because there's no farm in it.
That's the thing, the whole thing with farm, I'd like to have more stuff to put in CVs. So me not having a CV without a farm or without a hangar, it bothers me. I don't like it. But so many people are like, they don't want a farm in their CV, and they don't want all that stuff in their CV. So then I have like a less intricate CV out of it, and it's like I want personally, I want all that stuff in a CV because it's more to do. It's more to add into the space you've got and make it all work, and that's cool. But then there's other people that are like, oh, the farms are worthless, and I'll never use a farm, and why have all this big hangar, and you just got and so then I think, well, people don't want that, and then now I'm seeing the comments, and people are like, nope, got to have no farm, 100% unusable, and it's like, okay, well, maybe I'm totally wrong on this.
Yeah, so, I don't know. From the outside looking in, right? All I gotta say is, you got really excited when you were building stuff that you wanted to use in your gameplay.
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely.
And I would just be guided by that. I honestly, like, if I was you, I would stick to that. And listen, if you get inspired to build something else that maybe fulfills a different need or whatever, for the larger community, fine. But honestly, like, you're saying that you only have so many ideas, there's only so many things you can do, and this and that. Stick with what
I go through periods in Empyrion, and it's happened quite a few times before, where it's like, yeah, you're working on a really big project, it takes a long time, maybe you got some other side projects too, and it's just been nonstop Empyrion for week after week after week, and then all of a sudden you hit this point where it's like, God, I want to do something else. Yeah. And I guess I'm just at that point at the moment where I'm just like, oh, I've done so much Empyrion. All I want to do is something else for a little while. And usually what happens after a few days of that, all of a sudden I'll be like, sit there watching TV or something, and then bam, some spaceship appears in my head, and I'm like, ooh, that'd be cool. And then I think about it for a day or two, and then next thing you know, I'm back in Empyrion for another month.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
But like, yeah, HVs and SVs, I gotta say, I am pretty worthless right now. I thought about a couple things, and it's just like, man, man, I don't really know what I want to do. I already got like everything I would want for gameplay in that, I guess, for what I would use. So what else do I build? You know, I got my tanks. I don't want to use storage SVs or HVs. I got a little minor HV. I don't need it. I don't know what else to do with them. I just don't. You know, or something that I haven't built before besides a bomber.
For synonyms for workbench.
Oh, you want to name this and you want to call it after a workbench?
Ledge. Ledge is a workbench. Well, I guess as far as the bench part of it, I guess.
Oh, so you're searching for a name, huh?
Yeah, so MRE is the tentative for the garden one, and it's kind of an ode to the original Whetstone MRE, one of the first bases I ever built. But that's the farming one. So then this would be and then it's another name for ration, which is what I would grow in there anyway. So it's kind of a triple entendre there. Look at that.
Oh, gotcha.
So then the production module needs a name, and he suggested workbench, which is a great idea, but I need something more clever.
Yeah.
Vice is, yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, that's clever. I like that. The Vice or the Vice grip, maybe you call it. Yeah, you know, I like that. I'll name it that for now, and then that way I don't forget.
Very cool. Interesting what you did with the generators on that, where they're out in open space there. I guess that works. It keeps them further away from the inside.
Yeah, it's so small, especially with the garden module, that radiation was an issue, so I had to kind of have them out. But once they're docked, I mean, it's not really a danger to anything.
Right.
You're not really going to have them undocked, you know, at any real point, so.
Yeah.
It kind of works.
And actually, you know, you'd think it would be a perfect place to run a generator out in, like, open space where it's, like, very cold.
There you go.
So, well, anyway, I got some more stuff to do too, so I'm gonna probably
Yeah, man, no, it's good catching up.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well. Yeah. Well, I'll keep on thinking about stuff to build too, and stuff to keep on going with. I don't like getting burned out either, and I feel burned out right now. I really do. That's my thing. I don't know what will kick it in for me, like what motivation, you know.
Yeah,
I guess.
Get there. I mean, keep playing some Minecraft, man. Play some Minecraft, play some other things. You know, just you'll get there. I mean, you know, like right now, I'm playing. God, I've played Subnautica. I've been playing Minecraft. I've been playing Rust now. You know, I mean, there's so many other things that I'm playing too. But you know, I mean, I'm just building little by little, doing the thing, and I'm enjoying myself every time I'm in these streams. So. You know, just I mean, just do what you got to do. I mean, you're still doing your YouTube content and stuff, right? I mean, you're.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
No,
So just take your time with it. You don't have to overdo it, you know. And it'll come back. I mean, how many times, you know? I mean, how many times have we had the same conversation? Even
dude. It's not the first time. Over the course of the. You know, it's amazing too. I think when we get to like December this year. There's one side project I was thinking about doing, and it's to rebuild the my first successful ship on the workshop, the Manicore EX1. It would be its 5-year anniversary. 5 years.
Damn.
That's 5 years for the one video game. Yes.
That's nuts. No, dude. There you go. I mean, yeah. I mean, even dude, we've been through this so many. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I guarantee you, we're gonna get like 10 really amazing builds in the next.
Probably. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I keep on thinking on what exactly to build right now, and I got the one idea with the one ship, and I've got couple things to release already. You know, like another Merc MX4 and a
Cameron.
little starter base and turret that I probably won't even use in season 3 because I want to use the Janus.
Right. It's gonna be fun to use the Janus though. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I am too. I am hoping that'll be kind of neat. What I fear though is going through game progression so fast, where it's like all of a sudden at the end of week 1, it's just like you're already like into the end game, and it's just like, man, I want to stretch it out more.
Yeah.
You know, I think we all know that you can get,
Thanks,
you know, if you know what you're doing, you can really nail it and get places pretty far pretty quickly in the game.
Yeah.
But then it's like, then yeah, I don't know. Because I envy some of those players that were like building these super bases, you know, in game on the planet, you know, with lava flowing above windows and stuff. I thought that was cool. That's something I've never done.
No, for sure. We talked about that, wanting to do a base on a planet and stuff. Maybe we'll do it at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd just be kind of neat to build like one of a kind, original, custom something. But then again, it just takes so much longer in survival to do that and stuff. And it's, yeah, double-edged sword.
All right, guys, that is gonna do it for this stream. Thanks, Jay, for coming in, catching up, man. That was cool. That's good.
All right.
I think you'll be all right. You'll be good. That's it for June, guys. June's in the can, man. Last stream of June. Thanks a lot, everybody. Appreciate you guys. Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern, I will be doing my Hot One Spicy Wing stream. Oh my god, it's gonna be insane. So stay tuned for that. What's tomorrow? Thursday. Yeah, I think we got a stream tomorrow and everything. So I will see you guys later. We're gonna raid. Oh crap. Oh no, here we go. We're gonna raid Chronolis. Give her some support as always. And yeah, thanks guys. Catch y'all later.
See you, everyone.